Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. Buckle up, as it's a long one, and don't forget to listen to the end of the story to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, guys, and please like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 29 female, have always been the black sheep of my family. My younger sister, Lily, 25 female, on the other hand, has been the golden child for as long as I can remember. My parents, particularly my dad, have always doted on her. Growing up, it felt like Lily could do no wrong. If I brought home good grades, she would somehow one-up me with a talent show award or some other form of praise. It was exhausting. But I've always been the independent type. I moved out at 18, put myself through college, and started working my way up in the business world. I've been grinding for years, and though my parents never really took much interest in what I was doing, I was fine with that. I was doing well on my own and didn't need their validation. Meanwhile, Lily was coddled by my parents through her multiple failed ventures, none of which ever really stuck. Every time one of her ventures failed, my parents were there to swoop in and support her, either financially or by assuring her that the next big thing would work out. A few years ago, I got a job in the marketing industry and became fascinated with the world of e-commerce. I started brainstorming a business idea that combined my passion for wellness products with a subscription service model. Over the past year, I worked tirelessly on my concept, researching suppliers, designing the website, and even testing prototypes. I didn't tell anyone in my family about the business while it was in its early stages because, frankly, they've never been that supportive of my accomplishments, and I didn't want the added pressure. Then, last summer, I casually mentioned to my parents during a family dinner that I was working on a new business project. I was excited about it and felt like it was finally something that might make them proud. My mom gave me a polite nod, but my dad was more interested in asking Lily about her latest adventure, which at that time was trying to become an Instagram influencer. Fast forward to about 6 months ago. Out of nowhere, Lily announces at another family gathering that she's launching her own business. I didn't think much of it at first, until she started explaining the concept. A wellness subscription box service. The exact same idea I had been developing for the past year. She even used similar branding and product ideas that I had been testing privately. I sat there, completely stunned, while my parents fawned over her brilliant idea, praising her for finally finding her passion. At first, I thought it had to be some kind of bizarre coincidence. There was no way Lily, who had never shown an interest in e-commerce or wellness products before, could have come up with the exact same idea on her own, right? But then it hit me. During that dinner months earlier, I had talked vaguely about my project. I hadn't gone into too much detail, but clearly I had said enough for her to latch onto the concept. I was livid. I confronted her privately, asking her where she got the idea. She shrugged and said something along the lines of, "It's a popular concept these days. Anyone could have thought of it." When I pressed her, she outright denied that she had stolen it from me. I knew she was lying, but without hard proof, what could I do? She had already launched her website, and on top of that, I found out that my dad had invested a substantial amount of money to help her get the business off the ground. I was devastated. Not only had my sister stolen my idea, but my own father had financially backed her, knowing that I had been working on the same thing for months. When I tried to explain the situation to my parents, they brushed me off. My dad said, "There's plenty of room for competition in the market." And my mom just told me I should support my sister's ambition. It was as if my efforts didn't matter at all. I tried to move on. I told myself I would focus on my own version of the business, make it better, and let the market decide. But then, as I started paying closer attention to Lily's business, I noticed something disturbing. Her business wasn't just a copy of my idea. It was also a scam. Lily had no real knowledge of the wellness industry, and she wasn't sourcing legitimate products. After some digging, I discovered that she was buying cheap, low-quality products from questionable suppliers and marking them up at ridiculous prices. Worse, some of the items she was including in her subscription boxes were unsafe and not properly tested for skincare use. I found multiple reviews online from customers who had bad experiences with her products, including one person who had a severe skin reaction. It became clear that Lily was running a shady operation, cutting corners, and putting her customers at risk. My stomach turned at the thought that my sister was scamming people, using an idea she had stolen from me, and my dad had helped fund it. At this point, I had a choice. Either keep quiet and let her business implode on its own, or do something to expose her before more people got hurt. After wrestling with it for a while, I realized I couldn't sit back and watch. This wasn't just about the fact that she had stolen my idea. People were being scammed, and my sister was taking advantage of them. If someone got seriously hurt, I wouldn't be able to live with myself for staying silent. So I gathered all the information I could, screenshots of customer complaints, links to the supplier she was using, proof that the products weren't safe or tested. Then I filed a report with the relevant consumer protection agency, providing them with everything I had. I also anonymously contacted some of the larger wellness bloggers and influencers who had been promoting her boxes and tipped them off about the poor quality of the products and the potential safety hazards. Within weeks, the fallout began. The Consumer Protection Agency launched an investigation, and as word spread, customers started demanding refunds and threatening legal action. Influencers who had previously promoted her started distancing themselves, and reviews on her website tanked. It didn't take long before Lily's business was forced to shut down. She was in way over her head, and with the negative press, she had no choice but to close up shop. Here's where things get messy. When my parents found out that Lily's business had collapsed, they were devastated. My dad lost a significant amount of money he had invested, and Lily was an emotional wreck. At first, they had no idea I had anything to do with it. But then, Lily somehow figured out that I was the one who had tipped off the Consumer Protection Agency and the influencers. I'm not sure how she found out, but once she did, she went straight to my parents. All hell broke loose. My parents called me over for a family meeting, and when I arrived, they both lit into me. They accused me of being jealous of Lily's success, of sabotaging her business out of spite, and of being heartless for ruining her one chance at making something of herself. My dad was especially furious, saying that I had no right to destroy a family member's business and that I had cost him tens of thousands of dollars. They were acting like I had maliciously set out to ruin her, when in reality, I had only exposed what she was doing because it was unethical and dangerous. I tried to explain to them that Lily was scamming people, that her products were unsafe, and that I couldn't stand by and let people get hurt. But they didn't want to hear it. My mom kept repeating, "She's your sister. You should have talked to her, not gone behind her back." My dad called me vindictive and told me I had ruined Lily's life. Now, my relationship with my parents is in shambles. They've essentially cut me off, and they've been telling the rest of our extended family that I betrayed Lily and ruined her business out of jealousy. Lily, of course, is playing the victim in all of this, acting like she was an innocent entrepreneur who was taken down by her bitter sister. I'll admit, part of me feels satisfaction that Lily's shady business was exposed and shut down. But I didn't do this to hurt her. I did it because it was the right thing to do. People were getting scammed, and some were even being harmed by the products she was selling. I couldn't sit by and watch that happen, no matter who was behind it. That said, the backlash from my parents has been brutal. They've always favored Lily, but this feels like the final nail in the coffin of our relationship. They've made it clear that they'll never forgive me for this, and it's left me wondering if I went too far. So, Reddit. Am I the a-hole for exposing my sister's business scam, even though it's caused a huge rift in my family, and my parents are blaming me for ruining her life? Should I have handled this differently, or was I justified in doing what I did? Edit for additional context. 1. Lily never apologized or even acknowledged that she stole my business idea. Even after I confronted her, she continued to deny it and pretended like the concept was entirely hers. 2. I tried to talk to her about the product safety issues before I exposed her business, but she brushed me off and said I didn't know what I was talking about. She claimed she was working with trusted suppliers, which was a complete lie, as I later found out. 3. My parents have always coddled Lily, and I think part of their anger toward me comes from the fact that this time, they can't just swoop in and fix things for her. They're angry because they feel helpless, but they're taking it out on me instead of recognizing that Lily's actions are what led to this. OP's sister wasn't just stealing OP's idea. She was running a full-on scam. OP didn't just expose her to get revenge. She did it because she was endangering people and ripping them off. That's not something you just sit back and watch happen. OP's parents are enabling her, and they're mad because they lost money, not because OP ruined her life. OP did the right thing by protecting her customers, even if her family can't see it. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Not an idiot. Your parents' reaction is classic golden child syndrome. They've been so focused on protecting Lily from the consequences of her actions her whole life that now they can't deal with the fact that she messed up. They're blaming you because it's easier than admitting Lily was wrong. You did what needed to be done to stop a scam, and you shouldn't feel guilty about that. It's unfair, but your parents have chosen to ignore the truth for their own peace of mind. I'm sorry you're stuck in this situation. Info: has Lily ever admitted to you or anyone else that she stole your business idea? It seems like your parents might be more upset about the fact that the family looks bad now, rather than addressing the actual issue, your sister's lack of ethics. They probably think you should have let it slide because family comes first. But if she won't own up to her actions, you had no choice. Not an idiot, but I'd love to know if Lily's even taking any responsibility for her scam. Not an idiot at all. I can't believe your parents would rather let your sister scam innocent people than face the reality of what she was doing. You did the right thing by exposing her. In fact, you probably saved her from worse consequences down the road. Imagine if someone had gotten seriously hurt or taken legal action. Your parents are just upset because the truth is messy, and now they have to deal with it. You did the right thing. It's a tough spot, but don't doubt yourself. We've been together for over 11 years, and we've been married for 4 years. I'm a paramedic, so I'm gone most of the time in 12-hour shifts, and he works from home, so he has a lot of time that he's by himself. I started knowing that something was off when he would hide his phone when I was around and consistently ask me when I was coming back from work. And he started to neglect spending time with me, or even asking me little things like how my day went, like he used to. I sorta chalked it up to being the jitters of moving to a new city. We moved from New York to Boston, and I had a bad feeling that I couldn't explain. But one night about a month ago, he left his phone out while he took a shower, and his phone kept going off. I know that I shouldn't have done it in the first place, but I opened it. He doesn't have a password. And I saw that my twin sister was sending him very sexual texts and kept saying how she wanted to see him again. I kept scrolling, and these texts were going on every single day, making plans for when they'd duck. I confronted him, and he confessed that for the past 3 months, he's been going over to her house and having sex with her while I'm working. I felt hurt and betrayed that he would do this to me, but I still love him. He's been there for me through everything, my PTSD diagnosis, my episodes, and my family falling apart. And I know we'll make it through this, but it still hurt our relationship a lot. We went to couples therapy, and after confronting her about it and telling her to never talk to him again, I cut off what little communication I already had with my sister. I'm estranged from my side of the family anyway, so it didn't really affect me. Yesterday, however, I got a call from her while I was at work, and she was crying really hard, and she told me that she's pregnant with my husband's child. At first, I was suspicious, so I took her to an actual clinic and got a pregnancy test done, and it was real. When I told my husband she was pregnant, he told me that he wanted her to have an A, and she agreed, but I don't know what to do. On one hand, I feel a lot of resentment and anger because of him cheating and her not caring to even use any protection. But on the other hand, I see it as a chance for a way to bring me and my husband closer. And we talked about kids before. Or do I even have a say in all this? Leave. Oh my God, he knocked up your sister. Why are you upset at her for not using protection? He didn't use it either. Leave them both. Do not have kids with him. For the love of God, do not continue this relationship. Find a guy that doesn't cheat on you with your own sister. Get to a lawyer. Get to a therapist. Do not for a single second entertain the thought that this child will fix or help a single thing between you and your husband. I know you are hurting and not thinking clearly, but this idea is insane. Go talk to a professional, and they will help you sort out your emotions and start healing. I genuinely wish you the best of luck. My wife and I have a complex history. We got married in 2008 after only dating for 3 months. My wife, girlfriend at the time, told me that she was pregnant with my child, our first daughter. I found out when my daughter was 5 over Facebook that my wife was sending pictures of our daughter to her ex. That's when I discovered that I was not the biological father. My wife started crying profusely, told me that she never got paternity testing, but was 90% sure that her ex was the father, but was scared. She said that she never saw a future with her ex, and that she slept with him out of a moment of weakness. That for her, she wasn't sure about the relationship, that I was moving so quickly, and that she wasn't used to being treated so well by a guy. That she just had a habit of sabotaging stuff. I was heartbroken. I never thought my wife would have cheated on me. We had our fights before, but they were never serious. At the end of the day, I viewed my daughter as my own. We both made an agreement to not tell our daughter, nor our family members. Things now have gotten tense. I found out that my daughter arguing with my wife about summer camp, that she wasn't able to see her sister. I found out that my wife and daughter had kept the secret. My wife told our daughter that I wasn't her real father, that blank was her dad. When I confronted my wife about this, she views it as some natural order, that this is the right thing to do, that every child should know who her true father is. I got upset with my wife, and she told me that it's selfish of me to want to keep our daughter in the dark. That I, as a father, got to have the young fun years of raising my daughter, but it's wrong to do this to her. I was so upset, but then my daughter joined in too. My daughter views me as the bad guy because I kept her away from her real dad and siblings. This whole ordeal has crippled me. I have had anxiety in the past, but now it is unbearable. I feel that I am losing my family. My daughter thinks of her bio dad as a cool guy because they have a pool and he never disciplines her. And I feel that in our relationship, I have been tough on her to do well in school since her grades have been slipping and she was rejected from GT classes. I don't know what to do at this point. Had I known that life would be like this today, I would have divorced my wife the day I found out that my daughter wasn't my own. At this point, I find myself in a terrible bind. My wife has convinced our daughter that the biological connection overrules the entire history we have had together. I don't blame my daughter for this. She is just a kid. I don't know why my wife has been this way. I feel that constantly there are secrets lurking in life. I know the general responses will be to divorce, but I don't want to lose connection with my son, 9 months, too. I saw how quickly my daughter turned from me. I worry that if both my wife and daughter start hanging out at her bio dad's house, that he will prefer them too. I don't know. I feel more hurt now than I did when I found out about my wife's infidelity. I've talked to my wife, and really nothing has happened. She really views this biology as a natural fact, that it is coming of age for our daughter, that she should know who her real father is. I am hurt, guys. I can't focus on work. I feel that I am a guest in my own home. I don't know what to do. Please help guide me. I really am at my wit's end. I feel that the only use of me and my own family is to pay the bills. I feel that despite me putting in so much effort, no one cares for me. Guys, where should I go from here? Should we go for entire family counseling? My son doesn't know. Should we tell him at this point? Is this just a phase? Will my daughter turn around eventually? Talk to a lawyer for your options. You will always be your son's dad and can get joint custody, but your wife is an all-around bad person and now has allowed circumstances so that the girl rejects you. Remember, the woman you married is the bad actor in all this. Spoiler alert, your wife is still ducking this guy. Get DNA test on your daughter and son. Contact a lawyer. Don't leave your house or do anything rash unless your lawyer tells you to. Yeah, mate, I'm sorry, but you are screwed. You should have walked when you found out the child wasn't yours in the first place. You should have walked when your wife started turning her daughter against you. You should have walked a long time ago. You have been financially taken advantage of, and your resources have been spent on someone who is not your child. Now you are surprised that she's showing her true colors. She is not a good woman. You really need to grow a spine and leave. Consult a lawyer. Claim A, etc. Be smart and leave her in the gutter. You deserve better than this. I can't believe how blind you've been. These past few weeks have been a roller coaster of emotions. First, with the news that my wife is pregnant. Then finding out from her family that she's been cheating on me. They don't know who the guy is, and she won't tell me. All her sisters have told me is that they caught her on the phone with him once over a year ago. My whole world was shattered further after I demanded a paternity test, and turns out the baby isn't mine either. This has all been in the span of like a month, and I still feel like I'm in the damn Twilight Zone right now. I've left our apartment and staying at my brother's house, but that hasn't stopped her from calling me non-stop or showing up at his place unannounced. She really showed her true colors the other day, and I'm having a hard time believing this is someone I've been in love with for 3 years. She wants us to work things out and do whatever it takes. I've already told her no, and I have more respect for myself than to stay with some lying, cheating B. She told me we're still married, and legally, that baby will be mine. But she can A if I agree to give her another chance. She's using a baby's life to convince me to stay with her. A baby. Her own ducking child. I know she's only about 11 weeks along, but still, I can't believe it. I've seen the process of A when my sister went through it. She was destroyed emotionally, but she knew she couldn't have her baby. And now, here she is, so willing to go through with this life-altering decision for the sake of staying in the marriage. I am so disgusted with it all. But it's like she knows she has me here. Even if we divorced right now, I'd still be that baby's legal father by the time it's born. So I'd be stuck paying for a kid that isn't mine. My brother and I had a whole conversation about this, and he told me beforehand that he'll probably sound like a piece of crap for suggesting this, that I should just lie to her, agree to stay, let her have the A, and then leave. It's been on my mind since. A part of me wonders if she'd even go through with an A. I mean, she has to have thought about the possibility of me lying to her and then leaving as soon as the deed was done, right? Or is she just being delusional that I'd still stick around? But then, if I play into that world, would I be just as bad as her, lying to get my way? Except this time, it's costing a baby's life. The clock's ticking here. Staying with her isn't an option because I deserve better than that. But then it's her keeping the baby and staying stuck paying child support for 18 years, or lie and have her go through with the A so I could leave. This is so incredibly ducked up, and it's like I can't catch a damn break here. I don't know what to do or how to get out of this. Not a lawyer here, nor do I live in California, but I do come from a family of lawyers. As far as I know, you have no legal or fiscal financial responsibility if 1. You can prove the infidelity, 2. You can speed up the divorce due to special circumstances, 3. Get a DNA test proving that you are not the father, and most importantly, 4. Do not sign the birth certificate. OP, do not be a fool. Do not raise someone else's kid. Your wife, X, is not the person you married, not the person you fell in love with. She is trying to blackmail you to stay with her by threatening the life of a baby. Tell her to go to the baby's father and enjoy her life with him. Get out ASAP. I know it sucks and hurts like hell. She ducked some other dude and now wants you to pay for the result. No way. Forget about her and think of you and your future. Like everyone else is stating here, go see a lawyer. You may be surprised about all the options you have and all the help you will get. Good luck. When I was 8 years old, my dad told my brother and I that he didn't love my mom anymore and was moving out. He had cheated on her with another woman and was having a baby girl. Here's where it gets weird. My parents aren't divorced. I'm not sure what the reasoning is. I know my mom doesn't want to get a divorce. She is extremely religious and believes that he will come back someday. But after talking to my sister and seeing pictures of my dad and this woman online, it is clear that he is happy and has his own family now. My dad has never fully left the picture. He comes over a few times a week to make sure the house is okay and ensures that the bills are paid. My mom works full-time too, so it's not just on him. They share a bank account. I'm not extremely close with my father, 56 male, as I was very resentful and struggled with depression and anxiety my whole life. Doing much better now, and I have my own daughter. But my sister has been around since she was born. She has come over plenty of times. She comes to all of our family parties, her mom excluded obviously, and we'll text each other once in a while. Now, my half-sister, 16 female, is having her sweet 16 this weekend, and we are working together to make the desserts. My mom, 52 female, found out that my brother, 27 male, and I, 24 female, were going to her party on Sunday. Obviously, my mom is not going, and she's making a big deal about it, saying that my sister's mom, 50s, is going to be there, and it's going to be awkward, and that we shouldn't stay long, and can we drop off the stuff and go home? She's clearly very upset about this, and she said she had to pray about it. For the past few days, she says she's been feeling nauseous, and I feel she's just being dramatic because we are going to this party. I already understand that my mom has a lot of issues. I've noticed them as I was growing up, and I am full aware that she is partially the reason as to why I had depression, anxiety. She is the sweetest person, but has always resorted to her Christianity as an escape from reality. I feel like she is a bit delusional. Now that I'm older and can kind of see why my dad left her in the first place. She talks non-stop. She does stupid things, like buying a new doorknob for the garage door that wasn't the right size and trying to put it on anyway, but had to call my dad over because she realized she couldn't do it. Crap like this happens all the time. Expects my dad to pay for things that she wants. A new car, even though her car works perfectly fine. Constantly asks questions like a 5-year-old. She does not understand the concept of personal space. Goes into your room without asking and makes comments on things. There are plenty of stories I can tell. I'm not saying my dad was right for cheating on her, but I can kind of understand the situation a bit better since I'm currently living with my mom and 1-year-old and fiance as we save up for a house. I see that he is happy with his family and have come to accept that instead of being angry and resentful all the time like I used to be. My question is, are my brother and I wrong for planning to attend my half-sister's birthday, even though her mom will be there? Your sister is a person. The circumstances of her conception and birth have nothing to do with whether she's worthy of being accepted as your family. I'm sure this is painful for your mother, but she's behaving selfishly by suggesting that you shouldn't have a relationship with your sister or participate in her celebration. No, your mom seems big on denial. Your half-sibling is 16. That's a pretty dang long time to pretend this relationship with your dad is alive and healthy. She doesn't want divorce, but at the same time, it means she doesn't move on. No other man, no other family, no other happiness. And now she's trying to put her kids in that same situation. It might be time to kindly tell her that her life is not yours and you want to support this sibling more actively. Perhaps she should have some counseling with therapists, pastors who have seen this situation of broken marriage before.